A thrilling vista-dome adventure.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 61 of Huell's Gold. I'm Chris.
I'm Alan.
And here we go. We're a day late, but what are you going to do? It's
$1 short.
It's a free podcast. So this week, we're really, I think, tapping into one of the core demographics of Huell's Gold, California's Gold, and Huell in general. And that's the train freaks.
They is a strong.
Yeah. Man, I just heard something. I forget what it was. I don't know what I was watching, but it had something to do with trains, and I wasn't getting freaky with it, but it was just something. And I heard there was a train freak, and he said, I wish I shouldn't even be saying this because I don't remember the dang thing. Something about like when the train's a tootin', we come something like some rhyming thing.
Come a scootin'?
Yeah, there you go. No, but yeah, the California Zephyr. Had you ever heard of this thing before?
No.
This show? I've had it mistaken for something else, the Pacific Surfliner for a long time. That's just the California North-South, like coastal one.
What's the longest train ride you've been on? Amtrak. Well, I guess Amtrak's kind of the only game, like you're riding Caltrain for very long.
I've really only taken Amtrak the same route over and over again. I've made stops along it, but it's the Bakersfield.
Oh, 714. San Joaquin?
Yes.
Okay.
The Bakersfield to San Francisco route. Now I've like gotten off at every one of them stops, and there's like what, 18 stops on there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I've gotten off in like Dinuba or anything, but you know, like the main ones.
Hanford?
Yeah.
You got off in Hanford?
For some reason, yeah. I don't remember why. But yeah, I took the train up to San Francisco
I just
a lot.
have never been to Hanford.
You've taken it.
No, I've taken it, yeah. I just never gotten off. It's always, we used to ride to Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
This is when you lived in Pleasanton, right?
No. This is Bakersfield. We would visit Zach, visit some friends up in Sebastopol. They'd pick us up in Martinez. Yeah.
Well, I took it many times over the years. I haven't taken it in a while, but
yeah,
it's fun.
Mean, it's
there's definitely some stories to be gained when on the train.
Put it this way: the last time I came back, we flew back into Fresno. I took Uber to Amtrak and then back to Bakersfield.
Mm-hmm.
So I was using trains, planes, and
automobiles.
Yeah,
better get my donuts.
Last time I was on there. There weren't any seats left, and
Whoa.
then I was in a rail car that didn't have air conditioning.
Ooh,
it wasn't super hot. It's probably so. You know, I'm guessing the Zephyr is a lot more comfortable.
Yeah,
than a standard Amtrak.
So this episode is special for a number of reasons. One is the train freakdom. Two, it's the first time Huell ever starts a show or even has anything related to the show not in California. We are starting off in Sparks, Nevada, which I actually just drove through on my road trip up north this past summer because we went through, we didn't stay in Reno, but we just kind of like, we were in Tahoe. We went a big old loop up and around so just we could go through Reno to say we did. And one of the towns was Sparks, and I must have driven right over those California Zephyr tracks, right?
You must have.
Right? You've been to all up in that area, right?
For whatever reason, yeah. Been to Reno. Well, I've been to Lake Tahoe. Then we'd eat at some steakhouse in Reno.
Who's we?
And then we went with the Harringtons up to...
okay, yeah. I didn't know if this was like a pleasure trip or band days.
Oh, no. Okay, so there's 2.
Yeah.
Pleasure, definitely a lot more relaxing.
Yeah.
Going to Tahoe. Now, we played a show in Reno, and I could have swore it was Sparks, but I guess it was Fallon, Nevada.
Jimmy Fallon, Nevada. Yeah.
But we stayed at Circus in Reno.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
In Reno, we were only there for about 2 hours. The only building that we went into, Circus.
Yeah, it's cool.
Now, the only reason we did that is because I don't want to say it's me. Erin's not that into it. She's tolerant of it. I collect those pressed pennies. Whenever we go places, I always do that. And that was one of the few places that had the pressed penny machine. And best part about that was it was not there.
What happened?
Well, the way that I find out about these penny machines is from a website called pennycollectors.com.
Updated daily?
It's usually pretty well updated, but I guess someone hadn't been checking up on the Circus machine in a while. So,
well, this has happened to us multiple times. Kathleen, your penny obsession, your smushed penny, what is it?
Pressed
pennies, smushed pennies,
squashed pennies, yeah,
are the old chemical photo booths. What's
like the photo, like the actual film photo booths.
Yeah. Like they develop in the machine, and so
is there a website that aggregates?
Yes, but it only adds.
It doesn't
never subtract.
Yeah, okay.
So we've been to multiple places where you get there, it's down.
Yeah.
Most notably, well, we're visiting the South last year.
I thought you were going to say Sparks, Nevada.
Sparks, Nevada. No. They had the best one. No, in Nashville, went to Jack White's deal, and pretty much everything was broken.
Oh, it's the Third Man Records place?
Yep.
I've heard that before. It's
They gave us a complimentary his wax guitar, which is cool. It's very nice. But like they have the machine in there where you can record yourself on a record and it sends it to you, happy birthday or whatever. So,
but like
same deal.
If it doesn't work, what's the point?
Basically, we know your disappointment.
Of course,
that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there were a number of those on that trip, all through Northern California. Get those machines fixed. I don't know who fixes them, but help a brother out. I go all the way out of my way just to smash a penny, so I can prove I went to Placerville, California. And then the dang hardware store doesn't even have it. But it was cool because the hardware store in Placerville was chronicled on none other than California's Gold.
That's cool.
Double time.
Let's go back to Magic Mountain and get your pennies.
Dude. Yeah. I already have some.
That's all I remember is Magic Mountain doing.
I have a tidal wave one up in my little penny passport right now.
Nice.
Okay. So the theme this week, we've heard it a million times. It seems to be linked with all train episodes. It's the 100 Banjo Orchestra out of Sacramento, California. So it really seems like the kind of AOR sounding weird new agey theme is done. Like that one's done as far as Huell's concerned. For us,
what about
us is forever.
Nice.
As you hear at the end of every episode. But it's weird because the version that Richard and what was Eddie Enderly recorded isn't being used yet. But we're coming up on the end of this 6th season here, so maybe it's gonna pop
already?
up. Yeah. You believe it? 61 episodes, dude.
What are you going to do?
That's how old my grandpa was when he had his second heart attack.
Oh.
No. He did have 2, but
my grandpa never made it to 61, so.
Hey, I can't think of anything to say to that. I was trying to spin it, but you got me on that. Should we just dive in? We've talked a lot.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Huell, hit it.
It was quite a sight. This beautiful big silver train, which traveled from Oakland to Chicago and back, slicing right through the heartland of America and passing through some of the most spectacular scenery in Northern California, through the Feather River Canyon up in the High Sierra. Now, it was called the California Zephyr, and this train with its revolutionary, shiny, stainless steel vista-dome cars quickly became a big hit with the passengers. It operated from 1949 to 1970, just 21 years. But in those few years, this train, the California Zephyr, literally became a legend. But today, Amtrak runs its own modern version of the California Zephyr from Oakland to Chicago. The California route these days is a little different from the original Zephyr route, but it still passes through some beautiful California scenery. Going over Donner Summit, the route of the nation's first transcontinental railroad. And guess what? There's still one of the original California Zephyr stainless steel vista-dome cars in existence. And we were invited to go for a ride on it, go back in time, and reminisce about the good old days.
So I guess we're time traveling, going back in time to the good old days on the California Zephyr. Now, this does sound fun. I want to do this. Are you down?
Yeah.
Like take a train all the way to Chicago?
Yeah, no, I am down with that.
Okay.
I'm down with it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
do it.
well, I'm going to bring up something when
okay.
we get to the actual domes.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it.
Mm-hmm. So this train line you heard in the clip, it really didn't run a long time from 1949 to 1970. I mean, that's I got to imagine that hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people rode this thing and experienced it because it was like one of the few cross-country railroad lines there.
But we get to hear that they had a specialty.
Yeah.
This is the part that I liked. I liked that it wasn't trying to be all things to all people.
No.
People that had high opportunity cost.
Yeah.
I.e. businessmen, or business people, should say. It wasn't for them, right? Like the comparative advantage was in those who, or it was for people who wanted leisure.
Yeah, exactly. Because you really hear from our main guest for the first half of the episode, Art Lloyd, who was kind of like the marketing manager for the Western Railroad Company, right? That's who it was?
Western Pacific.
Western Pacific, that's what it was. And
he was an exec.
Yeah. This dude speaks in marketing speak so much.
Oh, yeah.
But...
Well, I got a little information on him.
Oh, you actually looked...
Yeah, looked him up. Yeah.
What's he got? What's up,
well, Super not with us anymore.
Of course, yeah.
But here's the thing. He was up in age at the time of airing, but he just passed in 2016, December 4th, at the age of 91.
Ooh, Artie boy.
Yeah, so check this out. He joined Western Pacific in San Francisco in 1949 as an information clerk. Then he rose to assistant director of public relations before he left in 1961. Yes, 1961, to join a travel service in San Francisco. Looks like in 1971 he joined Amtrak as a sales manager in Washington, D.C., and retired in 1991 as the director of public affairs for Western United States.
This guy was all up in the railroad, all up in the business side of the railroad, too.
Oh, yeah. And there was a ton more, on him, but he would, if I remember right, he sold his house. How did it work? I forget exactly. But he sold his house and bought a condo next to one of the Caltrain stops. And he would tell his caregivers whether the train was on time or not just by the sound of it.
That was his thing, like late in life, you're saying?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Train freaks to the end, I guess. So the real kind of like selling point that Art had to sell was this vista-dome experience. And the vista-dome coach cars that were basically these kind of like bubble top glass dome upper carriage cars. And it was all about the scenery. Like that's what what did you call it? Like the leisure of it.
That's how Art described it, as a leisurely yet comfortable trip across the United States. I think I'm just jumping.
See, here's the thing. I've taken the Amtrak a lot, and the California Zephyr was then taken over. I think the Western Pacific passenger routes were taken over by Amtrak. Western Pacific still has freight lines, right?
Now it's I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure they do. But a lot of these are charters, right? They're like the guy we get to talk, Bert. He owns 4
Yeah.
cars, and then he has to pay Amtrak to put the cars on the track. So it's private.
Because Amtrak does run a California Zephyr line, like that's what they call it, but it's not. It doesn't have the vista-dome cars in it anymore.
Yeah.
So the vista-dome cars are owned by someone else, and it's part of a special charter thing for people who are trying to like relive the old days.
Which it's getting a little. When we get to Bird, I'll tell you more about it.
Yeah.
It's getting a little hairy these days.
Yeah. So I just had a couple things. First off, the vista-dome was the first in the country to do this. Art said that there was one in the Alps, the Swiss Alps, that did something kind of similar. But it was kind of an odd thing because it was the second floor of these cars, and up like below, that was where most of the train activity happened. The vista-dome was really just for sitting, chilling, looking at the vistas. That's why they call it vista-dome. You're looking at the vistas. That's what Art said. But I guess one of their many slogans, because Art had slogans up the yin-yang, was look up, look down, look all around.
It was.
I think Huell interrupts this lady trying her best to ignore Huell while sitting next to her.
That was Art's then. 'Cause I knew I heard it a few times. Because I thought Huell came up with it on the
No,
spot. Okay.
Art starts it, and then Huell asks the lady, and she's like, and then just turns back around.
They should have had Huell do the jingle.
Look up, look down, look all around on the vista-dome. He also called it the most talked about railroad because they couldn't even. They had to stop advertising because people were buying so many tickets to this bad boy.
Public relations for sure. See, here's my thing. First of all, it's not an operation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Secondly, he was mentioning how it was first come, first serve on the seats, and if you had to use the restroom,
Yeah.
you're done. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
The seats that are most in demand aren't for sale.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. It's part of like, okay, you know, I mean, everyone knows when they buy the ticket that this is how it works. My deal, I have a question for you. Would you wear a diaper?
Whoa. Like
Just to sit?
like the slot freaks in casinos?
Yeah?
You know, okay. I absolutely not is the answer.
Okay, well.
Because
you know.
first off, it's a 2-day trip.
Mhm.
So, do I really need to keep this seat and be looking out, up, down, and all around 24/7 for 2 days? No, that's my answer.
Okay.
Throwing it at you. Would you wear a diaper? Why you even have to think about
No,
this?
I would not.
Okay.
Well, no, I would not.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking, though, this sounds like my worst nightmare. Because the moment someone tells me you can't get up, I'm going to have to use the restroom. It's just like
okay.
a weirdo thing of mine. Like on flights, don't move. That's it. It's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. So this would be of no use to me, basically, unless everyone's sleeping and I went in the middle of the night.
So you should definitely not get into the teacher game then, because that's like what the whole job is. Oh, you can't go to the bathroom. You got to stay in the class. Wait, what are you going to leave the class?
Lock it down. Everyone go outside. Lock it down.
No, you can't. If it's like an emergency, you can call one of the security guards in.
Okay,
that's
okay.
the deal. Now.
Yeah, that sounds horrible to me.
I'm a good holder though.
That's
so
that's a
good.
skill. It's a rare skill.
So one of the other aspects of this whole Zephyr experience was the Zephyrettes. What did you think about this? Because Huell actually has. I don't know if we made this clear or not, but the Huell is on a California Zephyr car that's being run on one of these charter trips, right? It's like the guy who owns some of these old cars would ask Amtrak to run them, like you said, and then they'll have these kind of like nostalgia trips. And Huell had one of these Zephyrettes who were just like kind of the stewardesses, I guess. This did not sound like a good job.
It's how do I put this? No, it didn't, because there's one person per train.
Per train, man. 11 cars with what, like 250 people. Basically, like, think of you're on a plane that's packed to the gills, and instead of like 5 stewardesses, there's only 1, and you're on it for 2 days.
And the responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the reason. Because she said she would warm baby bottles. You would perform first aid if you have to.
And it's like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.?
It's like a flight attendant on steroids.
No thanks, man.
But so I was reading about it. Depends how accurate you think Wikipedia is. But I was reading about to qualify as a Zephyrette. And it says being single and either a college graduate or a registered nurse. To fulfill a variety of criteria, from being single and either a college graduate or a registered nurse to being between 24 and 28 years old and between 5'4" and 5'8" tall.
Height restrictions?
Yeah, I don't know why, but
maybe because of like the doorways of the cars or something.
Yeah, but it says they were hostess, tour guides, first aid responders, and babysitters. They can function in any of those roles.
Yeah, did you catch the Zephyrette's name that Huell has?
Oh yeah. Kathy Von. How'd you pronounce your last name?
I don't know. There's one vowel. It's really...
Yeah, it's a kind of a trick. No, there's no vowels. There's 0.
Well, the I.
Oh, sorry, I. Yeah, it starts with the vowel.
Ibj.
There's nothing.
Ibj.
Ibj.
IBSCH. Ibj. Kathy Von Ibj.
Okay, so Kat Von D here.
Kat Von I. Oh, man. Okay.
That's good.
I mean, she explained all those duties as well, but she had a special little story because she met her husband who was...
Well, before that.
What'd she say before that?
The bro dudes that would meet them at stops and give them gifts.
Oh, yeah, that was
Dude,
weird.
I don't know about that.
Old dudes at stops just waiting for these stewardess ladies to give them dollars to go back to college and stuff.
And if they were, they could be between 24, 28... Or just college age. I don't know. To me, probably weird these days if he did it.
Oh,
but she did mention that she got paid.
Me too as a Zephyrette.
She got paid $450 a month.
Back then, that was heavy duty cash, right?
Yeah.
So, long story short. Kat Von I met her husband to be on the train. And he was a conductor, something I think he said. And they met on the train, got married, and even had a Zephyr going round their wedding cake. So imagine you're them.
She is sold on.
Yeah, imagine you're them. You get married. It's like 1968 or whatever. And then 1970, it stops. Oh, devastation. I don't know what they ended up doing. They probably both stayed in rail. Train freaks, you know. And then you hear that there's going to be these special pleasure redo trips like this one Huell's on. They must have been freaking out the day they found out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kathy V.
Do you think he proposed to her on the train?
Absolutely, dude. Yes.
Yeah?
One, because they're always on it. Like, they never got to leave. It doesn't sound like. So it's funny that we had Kathy V. Then we move over to Carol Voss, who is like a true Zephyr freak. She's not even a train freak. She's a Zephyr freak.
Even her description, when they show her name, is California Zephyr fan.
It's so specific. But she went on the thing. I think it sounded like maybe more than once, but especially this like first time her parents took her on it. And she knew then at like, I think she was under 10. She knew this is a life-changing moment. And she kept everything to this day, had all this stuff, had home movies that she had transferred to VHS. The menus, the every piece of paper that she got.
I'm so glad that you're setting this up because in my notes, I just put Chris is this lady for sure.
I do this kind of stuff.
That's you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not specific to one thing, but I do tend to like get deep. And Aaron can attest if she's home, but she's not within earshot. No, I think she went upstairs. She always gets on me because whenever we go out of town, I get paper stuff.
Yeah.
Like if a paper has like a town has a weekly paper, like L.A. Weekly, San Luis Obispo Weekly, anything, I get that.
Midway Driller.
I always keep ticket stubs to any sort of tours or museums that we go to. Any
Show flyers.
dude, yeah, I have bags of show flyers. Because that's what history's made out of is primary sources.
I wish I would have kept. You just get them, throw them away. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I totally get old Carol Voss. I don't even.
She
I
had a
definitely
menu,
not judging
right?
her. Yeah.
Did you mention that already?
No, but
Not yet.
that was one of the things.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. But it's funny because Huell really uses that as a way to kind of continue almost the rest of the show, because then he heads down to the galley, which is just the kitchen.
Well, before we get there, though, we talk about we go through the tunnels. Was it like the 2-mile tunnel? They called it the rat hole through Donner's Pass. And then
Yeah.
the way what Huell says, it's got a real funny feeling. All this glass and just knocks on it. He did it. So many words without saying anything. It's kind of funny. But what's his name? Is it Art?
Art, yeah.
Art, okay. Art's with them, and they talk about the honeymoon tunnels.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 tunnels, and they call them the honeymoon tunnels, and Huell was so excited to hear the backstory on this. He's like, oh, okay. Why do they call them the honeymoon tunnels? And it's like, well, because Kathy and her husband got married. I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah. What? Gosh, they went through there. And on our honeymoon.
Maybe he proposed to her through the honeymoon tunnels.
Dude, you know it.
Anyway.
They're just close together. Like, that's the thing.
I just felt like Huell wanted to have such a different origin story
Totally.
than it had. That's all.
Yeah, no. There are 44 tunnels that the whole line went through. And some of them, like on this trip that Huell's on, one is 2 miles long. But on the old line, there was one that was 6 miles long. Now, that seems like a long time. But then right after that, we talked to, I don't know if we got his name, but one of the guys mentioned that the guy who was talking about like having the legs for trains, meaning he would like kind of be able to stabilize himself really well. He said that this train would be going 100 miles an hour. Do you buy that?
Kilometers.
You think that's what he meant?
I think he has an accent.
He does have an odd accent. Not odd, but
It's just not
unfamiliar accent.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is at all.
Can't place it. But then we do head to the galley. It was Norman Bradley, the steward who worked on the railroad since 1942, who we were just talking about. But after that, we do go to the galley. We talk to the cook, who's cooking all kinds of gourmet whatnots and what have yous. The weirdest thing to me is that the kitchen, you could like special order things on the kitchen at any time.
What they chose. Are you sure you got to mention it? The 2 things, and they repeat one of them.
The Waldorf salad.
I didn't look at it.
And caviar. Like, okay, we get it. This is supposed to be a fancy train, but like, come on. Are you buying your caviar like on the black market off a boat in Puget Sound or what?
And Huell, we know that from Louis' book that Huell was a night owl.
Yeah.
So his scenario is funny. You're telling me it's 2 a.m. and I want a Waldorf salad. He's like, yeah, we'll make it for you. And then immediately after that, oh, you're burning something over there?
No, just reducing some sauce.
And I felt like he was kind of nervously trying to, no, all I'm doing is this. This is what I add to it.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if he actually was burning it, though.
Explain what the Waldorf salad is, though.
Oh, dude, I have to look at it's like fruit covered in mayonnaise. Let me pull it up.
I think, okay. Because
Yeah, it's a fruit and nut salad, generally made of fresh apples, celery, grapes, and walnuts, dressed in mayonnaise, and served on a bed of lettuce as an appetizer or a light meal.
like, dude,
It's
gross.
some rich food.
I don't get the mayonnaise. That's the only thing that freaked me out.
No, maybe it's.
Okay.
We should probably try it and just.
I mean, if you think about mayo as just some sort of kind of like creaminess factor. I get it. I just have never had this. It's definitely an old-fashioned sounding thing.
So, one word, creamy.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't like it. We don't have to get on this.
Just creamy foods?
No, I was at a bass shop. I think it was in Seattle or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in, and the guy says, "You hear those creamy bass lines?" It just weirded me out.
So you just don't like the phrase creamy?
No.
Oh, she has a nice creamy complexion. That would be your worst nightmare if someone said something
Yeah, it's just like,
about you.
Okay, so we got the Waldorf salad.
It's taken care of.
What about old Bert Hermie?
I thought it was Humphrey. Is it Hermie?
Is it Humphrey?
I don't know.
No, it's Hermie.
Which one is he?
He's the guy who actually owns the cars. When Norman is tapping the xylophone or whatever that thing is. The dinner bell, the dinner xylophone.
It is Hermie. I just read it wrong.
Yeah, so he's one of the private owners.
I gotcha.
Okay, so
What you got on this bad boy?
which, by the way, Norman's super dead too. December 8th, 2010. He was an older guy then too.
You can. I mean, if you just look at these guys, think, okay, this is 1996. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, I'm sorry to jump back to Norman again, but I forgot that he told us about the train waiters who put the napkins on their head, made a donut, and then carried.
Like the natives, he says. Like the natives. Like there's one kind. Norm, man.
Rest in peace, Norm. That was anyway.
Bert
Okay, Bert
owns the train cars.
Yeah. So he owns 4 original California Zephyr cars, and he stores them in Los Angeles. So, turns out this year, I'm not going to make this a thing, but Amtrak increased the tariffs on private operators.
Okay.
On their tracks. And the weird thing is, the way I understand it, they came out so late that the people had already sold tickets for the year, and they'll have to go back to the customers and ask them for more money.
Ooh.
And so Bert, so he's still with us.
He still got
He
trains?
didn't. I mean, it's in text. It wasn't strong language or anything. Didn't seem very excited about the tariffs. So
I can't imagine. So yeah, poor Bert, man. He's just trying to relive the glory days of the Zephyr.
just trying to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Hope he's still rocking the stash though, because it's a good stash.
Yeah. As we talk to Norman for a bit, Huell pulls out the menu that Carol V kept all those years, and this was some high dining for back in the day and today. But really, like, of course, Huell, I think he was hungry. You know, like when you go to the grocery store hungry and you just think you buy too much stuff?
Yeah.
I think Huell was hungry when he started this show, and that's why there's a lot of food in it. But after that, we head back up to the we leave the dining car, head back up to the vista-dome, and we meet up with Ted Benson.
Ted
Right?
Danson?
Ted Benson.
Yeah.
I wish it was Becker. No.
That'd be good.
Ted Benson is the author or co-author of a photography book, because he took a bunch of fancy photos of the Zephyr. And this train really does photograph well. I mean, I bet there are many train freaks who have this book sitting on their bookshelves.
Oh yeah. They look like drawings.
Yeah, because they're all in black and white, and it really works well that this train it's just stainless steel. It's like a DeLorean. It's like a mirror, he said.
Oh, you're talking about the silver lariat?
Oh, man.
Wait, how did Ted describe it? As a mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. It just pops the light right back at you. Ted's a short little segment, but we get to see lots of cool pictures from like the glory days of the Zephyr. Then we kind of move on. Yeah, we move on to Eldon Lucy,
Looks like Art's older brother.
right? This guy,
I was confused if it was the same person until the name popped up. I was like, wow, he doesn't.
when he
Like
looks
sitting down.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot different.
Sitting does not do him well. Eldon Lucy, he rode on the first California Zephyr. Now, I'm reading that as he rode literally on the first time the train ever rode, right?
I'm going with that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as with everyone in this episode, Eldon looks like he is up there in years back in 1995.
95, so he would have been 80 years old at that point.
Yeah.
If the math adds up perfectly, but...
Because it's funny, I'm looking over at Alan's computer, and he has an obituary pulled up. So, Eldon...
Hey, man, you know what, though? It is sad, but these people are 85 plus.
Yeah,
It's not
like... I'm glad that there's only been one instance back in the Father Sarah Museum archaeology one where we had someone who died young. Like that, so I forget what his name was.
Yeah, he died at San Diego guy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was like 6 episodes ago.
Yeah.
What's up with old Eldon?
I don't know much about him besides the fact that he passed and he was the first writer and he lived in Castro Valley. But I'm wondering if Kathleen's going to open my computer and see a bunch of obituaries.
Yeah.
God, you're morbid.
Oh, man.
So, okay. I'll talk about Eldon.
Okay.
Do you think that he's...
all there?
No, I think he's all... Oh, I don't know.
No, he's perfectly
like everything
lucid.
Is dramatic.
Yeah.
It's always a saying or something like it. And I think Louis recognizes this because he zooms out and it's a lot more dramatic.
And he's talking with his hand a lot, and that he goes out of frame a couple times, and it seemed like he needs to pull out and see that stuff. But is it Eldon's kind of it, right?
Yeah, he's sort of a transition interview to the outro, and it's pretty dramatic. He does say something. I would like to speak similar to Eldon when I'm older.
What did he say?
Because Huell kind of does this, kind of makes him feel he's just doing a good interviewing strategy and making the guy, be in the moment. It's like, wow, those were the old days, huh? Good old days, classic. Yeah, And then Eldon says,
setting the stage.
You hate to use a tragic expression, but now enough time has passed that we're all talking about the good old days. And then it fades out.
Oh, Eldon. It is a perfect ending because it transitions right back. It's almost like as if they had been able to zoom in and then kind of fade out at Eldon's head as if it was fading into a memory sequence. Because then right after that is a bunch of promo video footage of the Zephyr.
Dude, what if the train was coming towards the camera and Eldon's face, it just faded to the train?
You're making me think the Enter Sandman video for Metallica when it hits the bed right at the moment that he goes, ooh. That's what I pictured when you said that.
Just picture Eldon's face now.
Oh, man. I really want to edit a video of that happening, but put Enter Sandman over top. So as soon as that happens, ooh, Enter Sandman. Anyway, the last 3 minutes of the episode is all this kind of vista-dome promotional footage, and it's cool stuff. There's even a spot where they go through a car wash, which is funny, but you got to keep them vista-dome windows clean.
So what do you want to do? You want to buy some tickets?
How much are they, you think?
I don't know. Let's check it out.
Okay. We're going to look it up.
This is amazing.
So.
Okay. So traintrips.biz. I need some more information on that.
Okay.
That downloaded doc.
Download a doc to fill it out. My favorite part on that doc was that it said, very important, email address that you mail to them in the post.
But
New age.
I
beats old age.
probably could figure it out by emailing Chris, but
the webmaster,
the rail tour manager.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? It's probably pretty expensive though.
Yeah, I mean, even an Amtrak to go from here to Chicago.
They do private charters, so maybe we can get the Huell gang together.
Get the Huelliverse.
Yeah, get the Huelliverse
all over there. I'm down. If y'all are down, email us. send us your very important email addresses.
You think we could have Tupac at Coachella? We could do a Huell
like a
hologram,
yeah, a Huellogram.
Hologram?
Oh man, we're full of ideas today.
I'll write it down.
Man. Yeah, all of the above. So, where are we going next week?
Ooh, you know where we're going.
I
Folsom Prison to watch Johnny Cash's performance. That's
No.
all anyone knows about Folsom Prison.
Yeah, we are going to Folsom Prison.
What are we doing there?
Oh, well, checking everything out. Hopefully, we'll see if I can get some stories out of some people. I don't know if certain people would want to have the information known about family members spending some time in that facility. We'll see. I'll see what's up.
Yeah.
We'll talk off air about it.
Some
But,
insider information.
yeah. Either way, it's
No,
really...
they didn't go to prison for insider information. We just...
They don't usually send people to Folsom for insider trading or anything like that.
It's true.
Either way, it really is one of the weirdest episodes in a lot of ways because Huell is what I deem to be in danger at certain points.
Okay.
So it's a fun one.
I'm excited then.
So yeah, let's just time travel over to next week and just get it done. Well, we hope you come along with us next week and every week.
Huell's Gold.